Welcome back to the second part of the digital detox journey I went through in December of 2023. In this segment, we delve deeper into the day to day realities of a digital detox. After discussing the initial steps and motivations in my last episode, now Twan and I are going to turn to the practicalities and personal experiences of living through a detox. How does a day look when you consciously choose to step away from the constant digital connectivity? What changes in your routine, interactions, and mindset? I'll tell you how it worked for me. Join me as I share the highs and lows, the unexpected challenges, and the surprising benefits of a day in the life of a digital detox.
So can you take us through what a day looks like on a digital detox?
um, I actually I don't wake up first thing and look at my email. I think that's so important. I don't let something else in my inbox or what somebody said, because sometimes too, part of the, especially on LinkedIn, it's a little bit of a comparison trap that you can get into. I don't let that dictate my day. And I think that's something that's really special and important. And for us as project managers, when you wake up and the first thing you check is your email, I know that we're like, oh, I need to know what to prepare for. But if you let it be the first thing you check and your head is still on the pillow, that might be a little bit of a problem. And I'm saying this as someone who does it and kind of got back into that again. Um,
I
I,
do it every morning.
it's gonna be okay. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna be okay. Like if you need to check, maybe have your meditation, your coffee, which is something I started doing. I had just had a moment to pray, to set my day on my terms, have a cup of tea, and then check the emails. And then, like, if something is kind of irritating, it's like, woosah. But you check that email first thing and you're like, let me just go like do my power walk and get this off my chest. Right.
Right.
And it's just
Right. It
like,
definitely changes what you may have gone to bed saying your intentions for the next day would be. When you check
mhm,
those messages or emails, sometimes we give them the power to reset the plan of the day.
yeah.
And it's not always a good thing. Sometimes it can be a good thing, a positive thing, especially if you read something that was super amazing or what have you. But if it's the opposite, then it kind of can take you out of the place that you wanted to be in for the day.
hmm
So
And with the emails too, not so much LinkedIn, but with the emails, sometimes what I have started doing is just writing it down on a list. So that way, because I still love the the power of crossing off something off a list. I mean, even though I can delete it from my inbox, there's just still something accomplished setting of like, okay,
it
respond to
feels
this
good.
person. Yeah, respond to this person, as opposed to it's just a reminder for me that I'm going to check this off the list. I'm not going to respond to you right now because I still have to think through it and process it. But it gives me that feel good feeling of, writing it down, crossing them off the list, and I responded. Um, and that's where I'm just trying to find a method, just like what we do in project management, like find a method of documenting that stuff, and put it on your schedule or something like that, and then have the pleasure of crossing out the list. And I think that those are some lessons learned into going through this. Like I said, I'm not quite there yet of like a whole weekend of not checking. I do try not to check on weekends. Like I know there was a thing of like people social Saturday, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like it's my Saturday. You're not getting
Yeah.
any more out of me. Cause it's something I've said to my husband. It's like, you're just as deserving of the excellence that I give everybody else. And if I give them all of me, I don't have anything left for you. And this is if you have a significant other, your kids, people in your life, they're just as deserving of your awesomeness. And if you give them that 100%, meaning even on your off days, you're online, like something's missing for me. And that's just kind of encouragement that I want to give people. Like, don't give the world or social media too much of you that you don't have time for others. And your older self, and God willing that we all get to the golden ages of just kicking up our feet, your older self will thank you for it. That those relationships that you've mentored and nurtured in person, because those online people you might not ever see.
Right, right. I mean,
Right, but those in person, that can matter.
yeah, yeah, definitely being present for the people that you share space with
Hmm.
is super important. I try to do that when my son is in town. I try to make sure if he comes in my room to talk to me, okay, let me put the phone down, face down. Let me have a conversation with him. Or if I'm in the
Hmm.
middle of something, I'm like, give me 10 minutes so that he can have my undivided attention. Because I don't get to see him anymore because he's off in college.
I
So,
know.
and so when he's here, I'm like, let me be focused. And then, my parents are always like, you always have that phone in your hand. And I'm and I guess the 49 hours kind of proves that they were right. I always have that phone in my hand. Um,
Mhm.
so what kind of tips or advice would you give someone who is actually thinking about trying to do a digital detox? Like, do you have any other suggestions? You've given us some about, removing some of the apps, setting the time limits, or things like that. But maybe there's something, especially with mindset, if
Mhm.
they're ready to think about doing this. How would you recommend that they get started?
I would say think about your why. Why do you feel like you need to do the digital detox? Because then it'll give you more purpose in the steps that you put in place. Is it that you want more free time? Is it that you get a little bit of anxiety and FOMO? And how do you minimize that? Is it a combination of, well, I just want to set a timer, put that timer there. Cause I think, getting the screen, digital wellness kind of check and telling you spend 49 hours is pretty powerful. And it's like, do I really
Yeah.
want to spend a whole work week giving myself to, this stuff that may not really add a lot of benefit for me? It may be that you just have to remove. People have said they've removed those apps. If I would honestly say if I were not in business for myself, I might not have those apps on my phone because it's just a different kind of environment. You may not need it, but when you are in business, when you do kind of sales, you're more out there in the world, if you will. I definitely see how social media plays a part, but I think there's balance that is necessary for anybody. There's so much more out there in the world. There's mean people, but there's also nice people and fun things to do, and kayaking and roller skating, whatever it is your pleasure. You
Roller
know,
skating, yes. Kayaking,
right? It's
yeah.
actually pretty awesome. And I was so sad that I did not do it once at all in 2023. That was my goal. And I probably need to look back if I were to be honest with myself. There were probably it's the ripple effect, the wasted time on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got behind on the work I needed to do. So I'm sure the reason that I didn't go kayaking was because, oh, I'm so busy with work. But it may have been because I had spent all this time reacting on social media and not having a proactive plan. Then I got behind with my work. That kept me from being out there in the world and in the peacefulness. And really, I get a lot of joy with kayaking. And, I have a life vest. I mean, I can dog paddle and float on my back until rescue comes to me.
That not
I'm
my
on
type
I'm on
of.
a quiet bay. I'm not whitewater rafting. I'm on a quiet bay where I'm
I
like,
can't swim,
hey,
so it's all over with. I can't swim, so that's gonna be stressful. There's no need for me
you
to
you
try.
get a life jacket. You'll be
No,
fine.
no
you know,
thanks. There's so many other things I could try. So I could definitely take this 49 hours I've spent on on my phone doing other things, but that's just not quite one of for me. But I will definitely cheer you on. So when I see your pictures of you doing it in 2024,
yes, that's
definitely.
definitely a goal.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
the project manager in us all say you need to just go ahead and pick a date. Go ahead and pick a weekend or something, so that we know that we're just blocking that time off to go
You're right.
kayaking.
I'm gonna do
Uh,
that.
yeah,
Do that.
yeah, we have to plan our playtime sometimes too. But I think that that's also the thing, though, with the detox or anything that you're trying to find more balance in your life, right? Is that it's a sacrifice of time, Where would you
Hmm.
most like, where would you rather spend your time? Attached to your phone, doing absolutely nothing, or going out here making memories, or going out here making
Hmm.
money, depending on what the goal is that day.
Yeah,
So I wanted to also ask you, how do you think this digital break affected your work, especially as you are a trainer for project management?
it didn't.
It didn't.
And yeah, it in terms of if you're asking in terms of if I felt like I lost business, mm-mm. And the I think kind of the mastermind thinking of it is that most people aren't trying to do business in December. They're barely thinking about it in January because let's face it, January is the 13th month.
I
So
just
I
told my mom that this is just feeling like another continuation of 2023. I haven't felt that
exactly
fresh energy yet that comes
right.
New Year. So I agree.
Yeah, I would say amazingly. I mean, I did come up with, part of the detox, I did leave some space for me from a business development. So
Mhm.
I did come up with kind of targeted messaging that I wanted to have out in January, just like helpful tips. And it has paid off. I have a full funnel right now of clients who want to talk to me about training that
I
I've
love
never
it.
experienced before. So re-walking back your question, it helped me be more focused on my business and me, which is what's necessary if business owners are listening to this. And I'm weaving in my indoor recess because I remember, shout out to Ruth Pierce, I remember her saying so profoundly, the rest is part of the work. And if you don't get the rest, you are not going to be at your best to do your best work. And that detox was so needed and impactful for me to get the rest of like being, everywhere. So I could do some concentrated thinking and focus of my business. And now I'm kind of nervous, like all these people calling me and they're like, I have my calendar filled, but I also know that, things don't always work out. Haven't gone through this before, but this is a great place for me to be in at the beginning of the year when in past years I haven't had this type of full funnel until like June. And so to know that, you know, I might be able to have like a nice even keel of consistent client work, that's really nice. The fact that people are even thinking about it in January, and I owe it largely because of messaging that I've started putting out there because I had time to actually think about it and have it put out there in January when I did get online, once again on LinkedIn.
So that is good to hear that taking the break gave you the space to quiet all the noise from the outside so you can listen to what was inside and create the things that you needed to put in place to get this year started the way you wanted to, so that the
Mhm.
reset was necessary for progress for this year. That's what I heard.
Oh, you said it. You restated it so eloquently. Yes, yes, absolutely. It is that quiet, that noise, that I needed to just flourish and put that stuff out there and really think about my goals and my dreams and aspirations for 2024.
So, do you have another one planned? Is another detox coming?
Well, now that I was writing notes, things that you said, making memories, and I'm kind of thinking about. So the place that I go to for kayaking, like they rent out the kayaks. I don't know if they're open just yet, but I might consider March. I always like to take some time out during my birthday week, which is
That's
usually
what I was going to
somewhere.
say. That's the
Yeah,
birthday month. So, that's the perfect.
yes.
Well, but you want to be online to get your happy birthday messages. See,
No,
that's
I'm
me. I
good.
don't want to miss that part. I like it when people are coming on to say something amazing to me. Then maybe something's wrong with me. But
That's the only time I like Facebook. I don't really not need it, but I don't really look for it on LinkedIn. I know some people
I
do
look
that,
for
but on Facebook, I won't lie, it is kind of nice getting that
yeah, because I mean, I
birthday
normally have
celebration.
my page turned off where you can't post, but I change it right before my birthday so you can post on there because I want to see
It's
it.
nice to be
And
recognized on your birthday. I'm not gonna
so who did
lie.
not? say happy birthday. I'm gonna remember that when yours comes back around. And that is just terrible, but it's facts. So
That's so fun. So last question as we wrap up our conversation, I want to ask you, have I convinced you of maybe doing your own kind of detox?
a little. I would have to remix it a little bit.
You said a little. Okay, so
So you know
because
how people
I
say, no,
appreciate your
I'm not gonna
honesty.
they'll say, I'm not gonna stop drinking, but maybe I won't have a drink every day. That type of thing. Um I don't know if I could. I'm gonna have to wean myself off of it. But I did do a couple of things, right? Which is so crazy, which is why I'm surprised at how much time I actually spent online when I wasn't working, because
Mhm.
most of my work apps are not on my personal phone. My work
Okay.
apps are on my work phone or my iPad.
Okay.
My email that I pay attention to for business. You know how we have that one that everything goes into? That one is on my regular phone because I'm not really looking for anything. Like maybe there might be a bill notification or something like that comes in there. But like the place where people send me work to do, that's not on my
Okay.
that's on the iPad and and my work phone. So I tried to put those barriers into place where I would stop spending so much time. And because I'm a techie, uh,
Hmm.
earlier this week, I think it was, maybe late last week, I did do some connections between Gmail and Asana to put some things to just go automatically over there in the email. So I don't feel like I have to react on it right now. It's something to go back
Hmm.
and read later. All of that. Um,
I like that though. I mean, I don't have separate tools that I don't like carrying a lot of stuff, but it sounds like you're like, hey, I'm gonna put my work phone or my iPad over here. And if I
yeah,
gotta go out somewhere, I just have my personal phone and I don't have to feel like I have to check it. So I think that's super smart. Of course it is. I just have the one phone which has everything. So I think that could be a way that people do it
yeah. It
differently.
for sure helps me to turn off my brain, especially as like you and I, we work from home.
Hmm.
And so you already feel like sometimes if you walk past your office, it's almost like it's calling you sometimes. Um, so I try to leave it in this room. So I try to if I'm out during the day, during the workday doing things, then yes, I grab all these gadgets, which is why I have them. But when I leave this room, I want to be social. So I want to be on social media and I just want to be social. I want to share silly memes. I want to do all of that. I don't want to do the work that comes with what we do of having to promote our business or say something, mind blowing. So somebody thinks we're super smart. I don't want to do that. I just want to do fun stuff.
Hmm.
Um, so I've tried to set those type of boundaries. I just haven't gotten away from spending so much time doing the fun stuff. Um, and that's what I have to work
And
is
I
the fun.
think you have hit the nail on the head of when people make that decision, that goes to what's your why. You learned that I was strategic in my detox timeframe. My client work was not impacted in December, mostly because my clients checked out too. And Twanna restated so clearly my why for the detox. The reset was necessary to make progress into the new year. Stay with me into episode 3, the final installment in this conversation about doing a digital detox. Thanks so much for listening.